Hello everyone. Today will be the second attempt in a video I filmed when I was here last time. I filmed it in front of an amazing painting, and I felt that the background was very nice for what I wanted to do. However, I accidentally didn't turn on the microphone. So that video was irrecoverable, but I'd like to try again in a similar location. And while we are in a different setting, even though the setting that the original video was filmed in is just over there, I'd still like to try again. That being said, today we're going to be talking about balance, which is something I've discussed before, but I feel like I've had a breakthrough of sorts. And perhaps this is why I didn't turn on the microphone. I am one who believes in fate. I believe that sometimes, maybe not all the time, things will happen for a reason. And because of this, between me attempting to film that video, which I thought was so great at the time, and now, I've made a piece of writing which has taught me a lot more than I thought I could learn about this topic. It was a piece on music. And in a general sense, it was about how music, as we perceive it, is much different in a recording than a live performance. There are two reasons I stated for this. One, a performance differs from one to the other. If you listen to a recording twice, it changes. It doesn't change, sorry. If you hear a song performed twice, it will change. And that is the most important aspect, because the novelty of music is perhaps of a great importance. And while there is a place for obsessing over fine details and listening again and again for what we want to hear, there is something removed from it, a sort of velocity of the music that is removed in a recording, something that our instruments can't possibly pick up and they can't possibly reproduce. To listen to it the first time, you think that you are hearing the same thing as you did before, and you'd be correct. But in reality, you would give much of what you own in order to hear it again in live, because it will be slightly different. The second reason that I gave was that a recording is too easy. When you listen to a recording, you press play, you don't think about it. But there's something to that sort of detracts from it. Most of us, we live in these cruel cells, pitifully small spaces, devoid of nature and devoid of life. But if we were to inspect deep within ourselves and look when we are listening to the music, we would find that perhaps the reason that we cannot enjoy it a second time is due to the lack of nature. When we are the only nature, we are alone. And lonesomeness can be of different stages. Right now, I am alone, but I have the forest with me. I have these trees, the life around me, the snow, everything that makes our reality special and unique. This is not present in the places where we often listen to music. In our homes, there may be life, but it is devoid when compared to the nature. To listen to a song in the forest is a completely different thing, and so too will you grow tired of it. But as you walk, new trees hear the song for the first time, and they walk forward on their roots a bit to hear the song you sing, and beg to see the beauty whose lips sung this song for the first time. And that is the beauty of music. At the center of it is humanity. And externally, we find that our instruments cannot pick up the magic of it. You see, when we write music, when the first note was put to page, many centuries ago. It was simply a blueprint, an advanced network in your mind that would explain to your brain just how to play the keys so that music as we know it would come out. Yet when you play a song, it is a simple recollection of this, a crude mimicry frozen in time that does not change as time goes on. All that changes is in memory, but this memory can quickly be refreshed and not changed. There is a value to an experience that only occurs once. There is a value to an experience that is just for you and not recorded and not shared. And though you may be in a crowd, there is a certain personality to it that stays the same, that does not change, but then changes in your memory. And this is part of what adds value to it. When I stand here today, I think to myself, what a fortune it is to have the nature available to me. I know that there are people who spend time in their homes who do not enjoy it quite the same way that I do. To go outside, they only see a concrete jungle. There is no nature, there is no plants, there is only gray concrete. And this is at center, the heart of the matter. When we look at our recordings, at our instruments, we find that there truly is no replacing what we created within ourselves. There is magic in our hearts, and when we try to recreate it by crude means, by lazy means, we cannot succeed. And this isn't an insult to our pride. And in fact, we try quite hard. But it is doomed to fail, for we as humans are the ones who create. And when we walk like this, we cannot create. When we walk to our rooms and back to the kitchen and repeat this endless cycle, not creating, we find that what we make lacks presence, lacks humanity. I try to live my life to the fullest as I can, but I find that I have walked this land far less than I should have for my interval. When I stand here today, I wish to be here more often, and I wish to go out and see the world, yet I don't. For much of my time, I spend time in my room, as I'm sure many of you do. And yet, for what purpose? For what meaning is found in staying at home and not going out? And when we listen to music, were we not born to share it and to share the value in it and to play it? And perhaps you may not have this talent, but listen to those who do, for there is value, the appreciation of art, not as what a machine could make, but as your soul created and forged. Here, we are alone. But lonesomeness can be degraded over time, can become a shallow husk of what once was. There is much to be learned in self-isolation. Though taken to too far extreme, it can be quite dangerous. But when we stay in our cells, we do not learn this. When we do not share our souls and our music with the forest, we do not learn this. The nature is as much a part of what we are as the skin you see in the mirror every time you look. And so we must value it. We must spend time in it. For the nomads, while their lives were much harder than ours, they were more fulfilled because we do not appreciate the love of the forest or the music in the way that we need to. So perhaps that is truly the definition of balance. Using instruments to their fullest potential. But on the other hand, making without the aid of an instrument. And perhaps when you are writing a book, like I find myself doing, I should use a computer because it would be far too much work to produce this by analog means. But when I find myself alone in my room, my heart filled with deep emotions that must be turned into a short entry. Why shall I not open my journal and write? For my hand shall hurt, but there will be an openness to this. Writing it in a book, even if no one else sees, even if it is locked away in a safe and burned alive, wherever that may be, there is an openness, there is a nature to producing it this way. For we are not meant to stay still. What we are is not simply a factor of the things around us, but of the spirit within ourselves that can be fed so thoroughly through the nature. When you listen to a song and you grow tired, like you would after hearing a cockatiel utter a new word for the second time, a deep tiredness overtakes you, and this is the music leaving you. The blueprint that made the music in the first place, that allowed this to be performed, is there upon first listen, but never again, for when you listen to it again, the blueprint is gone, replaced by a crude mimicry. Here today, I stand in relative silence, hearing birds, hearing cars, and hearing wind over the surface of my scars. But the most valuable thing that I could communicate to you today is that there is value to these analog means. Those who enjoy working with wood, it is not simply because they are strange or they enjoy working with their hands. It is because this is the nature. This is what we are. This is what we were born to be. And you may find that through different channels, but you will never find that online. Here, in this landscape that you watch this from, you will not find balance as I define it, as many others define it. Perhaps we obsess over success too much. We figure that if we do not have money, the world means nothing. But in the city where I live, a home for my family that would be of the proper size that we would like would cost $700,000. Yet, move to the north where there is few people and much land, you could pay $100,000 for the same, and a plot of land to go with it. And this is the difference. Could we not be happier in the nature? You may stay where you are, and you may choose to work harder to achieve what you would like in the city, and in the instruments, and in the hourglasses. But go on knowing that there is another way, and that to feel happy is not a factor of what you own, but of where you are, of what you love, of how you love. Stay close or stay far. Long life in all knowing that you can only reach so far.